record. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our 2021 Congregational meeting for Anshe Emet. I thank you all for being patient. We had a little technical problem, why not? But I see that there are so many of you here today with friendly faces on, so that makes life much easier. Can you do me a favor? Can you just raise your hand and make sure you hear me? Oh, good, awesome. I don't want anything at the ONEG later saying you couldn't hear me. So, good evening, everyone. I call on Anna Bowder to do our Devar Torah this evening. So, Anna, would you unmute yourself and come on down?
Hold on, Anna. We're gonna. There we go. Now you should be able to unmute.
All right, thank you.
It was lovely, by the way.
Great. Hi, good evening, guys, everyone. So the Devar Torah, this week's parsha is Behar Bechote, and the main parsha, one of the subjects of this week's parsha is the Shemitah, which is the sabbatical year, which is every 7 years. And then every 7 of those 7 years is the Jubilee, which is a year of sort of redemption, where if you're not familiar with the Shemitah year, with the Sabbath year, it's a year where the land goes, your land goes is left untended. People are allowed to come and take from that land. And on the 49th year, or the 7th of these years, the Jubilee year, there is, they allow slaves or indentured servants to go free. All debts are forgiven. All land that was purchased reverts back to its original owner. So basically, it's a year where all these things that are sort of come to fruition, and that year resonated a lot with me in terms of in terms of the fact that it signifies to me that you're making something where there's always going to be, like, if you were sold into slavery, or you sold yourself into slavery, and you're obviously in a very desperate situation, the knowledge that you're always going to have, at some point, you're going to go free. You're going to have that hope. So no matter how bad things get, you're going to have a hope that things are going to get better. That if you're in debt, that one day you're going to be out of that debt. One day you're going to be freed as a slave. That one day whatever land you had to sell because of whatever horrible situation you were in, will go back to you. And what that said to me was that God is giving us always the knowledge that there's always going to be some hope, that no matter how bad things get, we're always going to have the hope that it's going to get better. And that's an important thing for everyone to have when they're throughout life. And I think after this year, after everything that went through this year, I think that's a really important message, because no matter what happened this year, we always had hope that this was going to end. That the virus, that we would get out of this, that there would be some light at the end of the tunnel. And I think that's what helped everyone get through it. So I think it's an important thing to always keep in mind, that no matter what's going on, that you're always going to be given that hope, and how important it is to have that. So that was pretty much what I prepared. So hello.
You're good. Somebody on the call just decided to start screen sharing. So
okay. That's what I figured.
Great.
Mommy.
Sorry.
Yasher Koach.
Okay.
Very nice. Can we get a wave? Hi.
Hi.
Actually, a wave.
All right.
Yeah.
Anna, thank you. Yasher Koach. At this point in time, we would be asking you to review the May minutes of the congregational meeting from last year. There's been a technical difficulty on those and getting those to you. So we're going to postpone that and send those out at a later time and ask you to do an electronic vote on that. I apologize We're still learning this whole technology thing. So we're getting there slowly. Genevieve, if you can unmute, if Rabbi would make sure you can unmute and give us a tzedakah choice.
Yeah. You should be able to unmute. now.
Okay, yeah. Wait. I keep on getting a pop-up saying that the host is not allowing me to unmute, but we're good. Okay, sorry. On the heels of or after National Women's Month, I would like to suggest Women Aware as a tzedakah choice for this month, and ask people to kind of educate yourself on what the organization is about. And it's womenaware.net. And they do have educational informationals. And of course, in times of things like COVID, the tensions and such make it an organization that really needs more support for our Middlesex County folks.
Genevieve, thank you so much. So to handle these donations, because we're not in person, if you go to the Anshe Ameth website and click donate, you can go into Shul Cloud and you can pull down tzedakah choice and make your donation there. For some of you who know my Venmo account, if you Venmo it, I can also take Venmo and I will make sure that it makes it to the account. And we will make sure that these tzedakah choices tzedakah gets to the right organization. Jenny, thank you for picking such a worthwhile organization. I wanted to let everybody know before we move on with the meeting, you see 4 of us here. We all do not have our masks on. We did wear our masks entering the building and while walking around the building. Mine is in, as any gentleman with a suit is in my suit pocket if it's not on my face. But we all are vaccinated, and we've been vaccinated for a number of weeks now, and we're thrilled to actually see each other. We still haven't touched each other, which I'm very disappointed about, but we'll be getting there soon. So hopefully the next time we all see each other, we will be a little bit more in person each and every other time. So thank you for bearing with us with that. Dave Snyder, if you can unmute. No, I'm sorry. See, I do this every time I go out of order. It's now time for our youth liaison report. So I'd like to ask the president of AEMT, Sarah Silver, and Stephanie Haig to join us and give their report.
Steph, where are you gonna go?
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. So basically we had our last meeting of the year today, and we just kind of wrapped up everything that we've done throughout the year. So we started with like our 80 kickoff, which we do every single year. We did our pizza dinner this year, which was a really nice success. It was in place of the pasta dinner, but it worked out really well. It was really fun for everybody, and we all really enjoyed doing it. We also did, instead of a midnight run, we did like a Zoom call to kind of learn about like the homeless situation that was happening in New Brunswick during like COVID times. So it was really nice for us to be able to just learn about it and kind of do something in place of the event, because we really do love doing Midnight Run. And so those are kind of the events that we did in the first half of the year. And Sarah is going to talk about what we did in the second half of the year.
Yeah, so we had kind of an unconventional Purim carnival. Like many other things that we did this year, we did it as a drive-through. It was also very successful, raised a lot of money, had some fun. And then we most recently on Friday had our 80 creative service, which again, given the circumstances, really couldn't have gone better. We had a lot of participation and again, a good time. The last thing on kind of the agenda for this year is our end of the year event. Similar to the kickoff event, it's going to be at Eagles Landing again. Just kind of say our goodbyes, hang out, and going to be great.
Sarah done? Hi, okay. Thank you both. I thank you for a wonderful year, for all your work that you've done. I know it's been a difficult one for both of you. Sarah, best of luck to you on your college. Stephanie, we got one more year with you, if I remember correctly. No, you're a senior too. So Sarah and Stephanie, unmute yourself real quick. Why don't you tell us all where you're going? And I apologize, Stephanie.
You're all good. I'm going down the street. I'm going to Rutgers, so I'll probably still be at the temple.
Good. Well, I think we'll probably use you as a teacher.
Yeah, hopefully.
Sarah?
I'm also staying in New Jersey. I'm attending the College of New Jersey.
Awesome. Wonderful. Best to you. Great job. Dave Snyder, would you unmute yourself and join us for a financial report?
I'm getting, okay. I got the same message. It said it wasn't allowing me to unmute. So anyway, thank you very much for joining everyone tonight. I'm just gonna briefly be brief. I want to highlight kind of where we started at the beginning of this fiscal year and where we're ending up and where we still have to go. For all of you know, our fiscal year ends in June, so we're still waiting for a couple more months of our financial results to come in. But I'm happy to say that because of a lot of hard work by the Budget and Finance Committee at the beginning of the year and coming up with a conservative budget that responded to COVID. And thanks to Heather and her staff for making heroic efforts to take advantage of the loans that were available. They're called PPP loans that were made available by the federal government as a result of the pandemic. At the end of this year, we will have a more than balanced budget because of all those efforts. And we're very happy to see that, given what we were looking at this time last year in developing a budget and the result of COVID. Just a few things to highlight. Even though we're coming into the end of the year in good fiscal shape, we still have some important things that we need all of you to help with, particularly when it comes to fundraising. We've had to make a lot of adaptations in fundraising to adapt to COVID. One of the things that we're just so thrilled about and that we think has been a great success and created a great experience for people is our ongoing Taste of Anchiameth events. We have the wine one remaining. I'm not sure what the status of that is, but if you haven't taken advantage of that, these events have been great and they've been a great help for us on fundraising. And finally, also we have the golf outing coming up. So if you haven't yet signed up for the golf outing and the dinner, it'll be honoring our soon-to-be outgoing president, David Levine. Please sign up for that as well. So in short, I just want to reiterate that we had a challenging year, but everyone pulled together. We made a conservative but realistic budget, and by doing that and taking advantage of what there was available to places like synagogues based on the pandemic relief, we're coming at the end of the year in a good place. So I'm happy to report all that, and thank you.
Dave, thank you for all the hard work that you've done with the Budget and Finance Committee and to make sure that we're on the right path to be fiscally responsible. And we're in great shape for the upcoming year. Tonight, we're going to be talking about a proposal to change our Constitution, to revise it. In the past few weeks, you have received numerous emails asking you to review it and asking you for questions and comments about it. So I'm going to ask Heather to show a slide that shows some of the major changes. Since you've all had a chance to review it, and before that, we just wanted to make sure that you can see the major changes. And I'm going to ask Sarah Levine to maybe highlight some of those changes for us. So Sarah, thank you for your committee and who's been working on this well over 2 years at this point, and we've come a long way.
Thank you, and thank you to everybody who participated in this. So if we could switch to the next slide, thank you. So the major areas of update here are really around the language being more inclusive, taking out the genders, changing our qualifications for membership, updating that a family unit has no real specific makeup other than 2 adults, and that both Jewish and non-Jewish members are entitled to 1 vote each. We also put directly into our constitution the fact that we can hold virtual meetings with voting being held in person and virtually simultaneously. Our terms of office, we always elect our president, vice president, and second vice president for 2 years in a row. What we decided was, instead of doing it year after year, that we would give them 2-year terms. All our other officers will continue to be elected for 1-year terms. We left our standing committees, budget and finance, membership, buildings and grounds, ways and means, practices, rituals, rabbinical liaison in the Constitution, but all of our other committees are now documented in our governance manual. And we put in a clause allowing us to elect emeriti, rabbis, and cantor. The governance manual allows the Board of Trustees to make amendments to the governance manual via a board vote, which means that if we need to take out a committee, if we need to rename a committee, if we need to remove a committee or add a committee, those things can be done. I'll answer questions when we're done. Those things can now be done by the Board of Trustees instead of needing to do a full change. And it also describes in great detail the roles and responsibilities of our officers and each synagogue committee. And then thank you to Kirk Gluck. There were 2 typos that my committee, even diligently going through it, found. And they have been corrected in the version that you are going to see tonight. Do you want me to answer questions now? Okay, so if you are a single member, then you get 1 vote. But a family unit has no specific makeup in our Constitution, but it can't be more than 2 adults.
Sorry, we have one person that's trying to get into the meeting. It's my phone up at 201. We're going to hold the questions to after a motion is made. So we'll have a motion in a second and we'll open the floor to some questions. So Sarah, thank you for detailing all that. So I'm reading this motion on behalf of Malcolm Bush. He's the one that's trying to get online right now. And so Malcolm is making this motion. This is the right way. So I hereby move that the resolution adopting a new constitution of the temple, a copy of which was provided to each member in attendance at this meeting, be approved. Motion is made by Malcolm Bush, and Allison, if we can unmute her, or Allison Warzala is seconding it. So now I open the floor to questions. We have to unmute everybody, or you'll raise your hand and put it in the chat.
Thanks, Paula.
Please. Yeah. Okay, so are there any questions? Looking for the chat. Any hands up?
I think I answered that one question.
Sarah, you might be able to see more people than we can because of the way we have our screen set up.
I can go into gallery view.
We have a message.
Yes, Jack.
Amy will send that to you.
Jack Friedman, did you have a question?
Washa, unmute yourself.
Ask to unmute. Yes, Sarah, we have to.
Muted.
There you go, Marsha.
I think it's misleading to say that the way it's worded, it does exclude a single parent and
So
a
it's-
child.
Honestly, that was just a
Excuse me,
summary.
from being considered a family unit. If you've been very familiar with the wording for many more months than most of us. So just after 2 readings, my impression is that a single parent with a child or children is not considered a family unit in your definition. And I think some would consider that misleading.
No, it says the unit of membership shall be an individual or a family. The family unit is understood to be adult married persons or other domestic partners who are economically and emotionally committed to each other, adults and their dependent children, or a single parent and their dependent children.
You're muted again, Marsha.
I didn't see that. I didn't read what you just read. I apologize.
That's okay. It's
I
Article
only-
3, Section 3.
I only read the portion that said a family unit contains two adults. So I think the more specific you can be, at least in that sentence, the more clearly and accurately it might be understood.
Okay, I think I saw a question in there, a couple other questions that came up in the chat.
Hang on, I'm sorry, I'm not in the Zoom anymore. I was looking at the Constitution.
Okay, you want to read them?
Okay,
From Art Knott, with respect to new committees discussed in the governance manual, who is allowed to join a committee and is there a requirement that the committee be published? And he also then writes, can any congregant join a committee or attend a meeting? So the answer to the meeting, if it's, Sarah, I don't want to speak out of place.
no, please speak.
So,
Go ahead.
So as far as the committees are, there are committees that get started and then get opened up. There is no, our standing committees, which we have listed in the governance manual. Most of those are by invite, if I'm correct, Heather. They are usually by invite. And then if somebody would like to be on a committee, we can certainly take that under advisement and do that. Sometimes there are many open committees, but those aren't the ones that are necessarily listed in the governance manual. And congregant join a committee or attend a meeting. Certainly the congregational meeting and our board meetings, I believe we can have guests. Correct. So on both of those areas. All right, I hope that answered. If not, type in again. Jason Paddock, you write adults, meaning for membership? And we're going to unmute you, Jason, or ask you to unmute. And Jack Friedman. Well, I lost Jack Friedman.
Sorry, I can't do two things at once. Give me a second. Jason. Ask to unmute.
So the
I will
answer, can I answer another question while we're just
Please.
waiting to unmute? The answer, the president cannot hold more than 1 2-year term, and that is specifically written into the Constitution.
And so therefore the other officers can hold
Right.
more than one term.
This is Jack's question.
Jack, will everyone get a copy of the governance committee manual?
Governance manual has been sent out to everybody, and feel free to read it. And if you see something you don't understand, please feel free to reach out to me.
And please understand that the governance manual is really an addendum to the Constitution. It's not the Constitution. And so that will be subject to change as any manual might be, as things go.
Kurt, I'm not sure I understand your question.
And we'll post it.
Did we answer this?
I was just suggesting that this is Jason. I was just suggesting that spelling of adults that I put in the chat would cover a single adult family unit or a multiple adult family unit with kids. That's all.
We did not answer that.
So Kurt, you write Jewish or US or us definition of what is definition of adult? Rabbi, you want to give that one a go?
For voting members or the adults of the family household?
Right. So yes, Kurt, let's see if we'll, can you unmute Kurt?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I said it was
Oh, there you
nitpicking. I said it, can you hear me? I said it was
Yeah.
nitpicking. I just want to make sure, we say adult, we're a Jewish organization. You mean 18 years or older. You might.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. It's nitpicking, but
And
not
Kurt, I
personally.
actually received that feedback from somebody else. And so
Yeah.
as we move forward, I have all of these notes of things that we may want to clarify in the future.
Yeah.
And that is one of them. So thank you.
I think the 13-year-old should be in charge.
Yeah, Kim thinks the 13-year-old should be in charge.
Sure.
I know when
You
Joshua,
have one.
I know when Joshua was 14, he very strongly believed that.
Okay, let's see. We're checking for more questions. I apologize. It's a little bit difficult with one screen.
I don't see anybody with a hand up.
Okay, so going.
Nope, Oh, yeah.
So in a few moments, we're going to
Oh,
ask,
wait, Neil and Maxine, did you have a question? You have to be unmuted. Hang on one second.
we have to request
name?
it to unmute. Give a sec.
What's their
Just
name
type in
listed
Neil.
as?
There it is.
Neil and Maxine.
Oh, they're not.
What's the name on the screen, Sarah?
That's what I'm seeing.
How are we spelling Neil? With an E-A?
Neal.
There we go. Thank you. We were doing it the wrong way.
Sorry.
All right, so guys, you should have an unmute.
Okay, yes, thank you.
Sorry about that.
In a family unit, if someone has an elderly parent living with them, who is also coming to the synagogue, is that considered part of the family unit, or does that parent have to be part their own unit?
They would have to be their own unit. That's how we've always done things here at Anshe Emet.
Okay.
That hasn't changed.
Thank you for the question. Do we have anything else? I'm going to scroll through one more time. Wait, I saw somebody waving. Hold on one second. Malcolm,
There's Malcolm. Malcolm, thank you for the motion. I'm glad
he
you're,
needs to be unmuted.
we're getting there.
Give me a minute.
You can unmute now.
There you go.
Am I muted?
Great.
Yes, you are, Malcolm. Nope, you just muted yourself again.
Unmute. Am I unmuted?
Yes.
Okay. I'm in my car, which is not the easiest thing to do. I suggest that you're not trying to make any modifications at this meeting. Take
We are
into
not.
account. Okay, whatever information you have, you can look at it and then have a special meeting rather than trying to do it on the fly.
We will actually probably spend a little bit more time looking at some of the things. And we will look at maybe doing a constitutional amendment next year. But we're not going to change anything right now.
Great.
Can I call the question or do you have more?
I'm just looking one more time.
One more shot.
Okay, so David Falk, at retirement, rabbi or cantor may be elected to emeritized status. Is there any more detail that could be included in some document, either constitution or otherwise? I guess based upon Malcolm's comments, that would be done at a later date. If
Well, we could put something into the governance manual. Let me,
Malcolm, make a right at the light.
hang on, I'm just looking for a pen. Where's my pen? Oh, here it is. Okay. I'm going to write that down. Thank you. We can certainly include some additional information around that in the governance manual.
All right. Deborah Cohn, I saw something come up.
Hold on.
Yeah, so Deborah says the same thing because Deborah was on that committee and a former past president, or not a former past president, a past president. She also says we can add that to the governance manual. Okay, so.
Malcolm, call the question.
Oh, I muted him. Hold on.
Oh, all right. Well, we
Okay,
know he's
so
calling the
Before
question.
we call the question, I just need to clarify one thing. So we are doing this vote via polling on this meeting. So you'll get a pop-up on your screens that's going to ask you to vote. Now, since there are a lot of you here, we all are on the honor system and we assume that you are eligible to vote. So unless, while I don't want to leave as president, and I know this is rigged, I just want to make sure that we are on the honor system and that your vote should count. And if there's any question, we'll follow it up after at a different time. So Heather, I guess, Malcolm, if you're not unmuted, we're going to call the vote.
I unmuted him.
You unmuted it. Malcolm, you're unmuted again. So if you can unmute and call.
I'm unmuted. Can I vote yes now so I can go back to my brother's birthday party?
Yes, we can record.
Yes, you
your
may.
vote as a yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And so Heather, would you put the poll out? And please vote in your category. You'll see in the poll of how to vote. And Secretariat leads around the bend, coming around the right. Oh, I'm sorry. Kentucky Derby still in my head.
Oh, Lord, it's still up. But
So if she,
If she wants to unmute and tell.
some people are reporting that their poll disappeared. If your poll disappeared on you, just go to the chat and message on Anshe Emeth individually. So go to, you can just chat with Anshe Emeth in and of itself, and just send Heather the vote that way.
Does it look like everybody voted?
No. We're at 101 of 132,
Okay.
76%.
It disappears after you vote, correct. Thanks, Amy. Yes.
So it'll disappear after you vote. I'm assuming we're unmuted. Good.
Yep.
We have right now 69 and 34. We're getting close.
Okay. Lee and Marvin both said yes.
Yes, and I see if you haven't voted, we're getting some in chats, so that's great. We have 107 people out of 131 voted.
A business phone call.
Yeah.
Can you mute Malcolm?
It wasn't really business, it was very.
Okay. This is, oh, we just jumped up 2 more votes. This is, I feel like a lot like watching popcorn in the microwave where you get a lot at once and they're kind of watching the single kernels pop.
Yeah. Heather, can we remove Malcolm? I think he just forgot to hang up.
Okay. Give me a minute. But if I remove him, he won't be able to come back.
Well, I don't think he's
If
coming back.
muted, if he's muted.
Yeah. Yeah, there is some chat in this. If one votes no and one votes yes, it's not the same as not voting. It is the same. Yeah. The poll is complicated. If we continue to do this, we will have to use another measure so that individuals who are on together can vote separately. If you are both not in agreement to vote, then please put it in a private chat.
Right. So exactly what Sarah said. We'll find out some better ways in the future, but right now this seems to be the best tool we have, trying to keep you in the meeting instead of having you go out to another thing. So if there's a split vote or you want to put the vote in because only one of you are voting, please just send it in the chat. We have about, we'll give another 15 seconds or so. It'll be a 3.5-minute vote at that point. And then we'll close the polling because it looks like it's slowed down to nothing. And Heather, would you close the polling? And so we are overwhelmingly, what's the count? Does it give you a count?
Yeah, it's 64%.
Well, it's 60.
It's actually 140, yes.
Yes,
Plus-
100
plus 38. Do some math.
70 and 38.
It's 140. There's 2 people. There's 7.
Oh, I see. I'm
people
sorry.
households.
140 and
So that's
38.
140 plus 38. who voted
8, 7,
yes.
178 for and 2 for no, and 1 abstain in an adult house, in a 2 adult household.
And then there were a few more in the chat.
And then there's some more in the chat, which we will capture later. I don't think it's going to change the vote. So we'll keep that. I see. Yeah. So we'll publish that final vote within some minutes in a follow-up. But thank you for taking the time to do that. Heather, make sure we save that, please.
Put down.
And so we have to read that second page. Is that correct?
I don't know where this is going to.
Go back.
Give us
I got
1 second. I
another one.
apologize. Another technical difficulty. We got to take a picture of the screen.
I already did.
Sarah has the
took
picture. We're good.
Okay, Sarah took the picture.
No, Rabbi wants a picture too.
Okay, let him take his own picture.
He's going to show it like a child tonight.
Thank you.
Did you see? Did you see?
So thank you for all your patience during that. We have one more screen to share for you. because the printout in front of me is quite small and I can't read that fast. The other one, resolution, do we do that one?
We don't need to. We can move to the next screen.
That one?
No, the one after the movement. We don't have to do this. Just everybody should get a copy of the resolution.
Okay, so there'll be a copy of the resolution sent out an email to the congregation. You see it up on your screen. I will.
It basically, and I'm just going to summarize it in 15 words or less. You can count them. Because we made so many changes to the Constitution, the resolution is to make a full constitutional change as opposed to an amendment to the current Constitution. That's what this whole resolution says.
Great. So we'll add that out to you guys, and I thank you. Sarah, thank you for your 2 years of hard work. When you guys, I just love the new Constitution and the governance manual. We are so careful with the new language and making our community inclusive and welcoming. So thank you for all that work that you have done with all your cohorts.
Thank you. And I do want to thank the governance committee, and I'm including in here people who started on it and were not able to continue with us, or people who joined later. I really appreciate all of their help, as well as David and Heather and Rabbi Baisley. And really a special shout out to all of you who actually read the document and provided feedback, with a special thank you to Joanne Stern, who went through and diligently fixed our commas, our spelling, our word form, etc. And then of course to Kurt for catching my 2 typos. We could not have done this without everybody's help and diligence, and my committee's long hours in person and on Zoom.
Great, thank you. It is very rewarding when people actually send some feedback, and especially those typos and errors in formatting. So we know is that you're actually involved and being part of our community. Great. So now comes to the point of we talk about elections. So I've asked Darryl Lipkin, our immediate former past president, or yes, whatever, the guy before me, number 59. Rabbi's going to be so happy in a few minutes.
Give me a minute.
And we're trying to figure out how to mute you again, Darryl. There we go. Ah, there we go.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Good. So Heather, are you putting up a present PowerPoint? Okay.
It's coming. There we go.
Good. All right. Well, hello, everyone. So many of you may not know, but one of the responsibilities of the immediate past president is to chair the nominating committee. And I was very fortunate. So first, I'm very honored to have done this and to be part of this. And in both years that I did it, I had a wonderful group of committee members. And this year, my committee members were Sarah Kahn, Leah Kravitz, Elise Roth, Neil Silver, Allison Brown, Brian Goldenfarb, and Matt Feldman. Special thanks to all of them, and to Sarah Levine, who was also, as always, very helpful in this process. We met every month for 4 months, starting in October through January. It's a very involved process where we have interviews with candidates. We come back, we discuss. We are very fortunate that we had more candidates than positions, and that's a wonderful place to be. We're very lucky at Anshe Emet that people want to be part of a leadership team. So thank you to everyone that was involved in this. And again, thank you for letting me do this. It's a nice way to ease off of being president and having some involved in the temple, and I really enjoyed it. So with that, what I'd like to do is present the slate for the 2021-2022 year. Ina Horn as president, Allison Warzala as first vice president, David Snyder as second vice president, Andrea Schoen as treasurer, Laura Leibowitz as financial secretary, Amy Warner as recording secretary, and Neil Silver as secretary at large. Our incoming trustees, we have Howard Firestone, Jenny Frace, who is serving her second term, Lori Ginsburg, Brian Goldenfarb, who will be filling a one-year term for a trustee, Leon Gurovich, Kevin Lynn, and Jeff Roth. With that, I'd like to make a motion to approve the slate as presented and ask for a second. Sarah is providing a second.
Sarah's got the second.
And then I believe I turn it over to you, Heather, to take the vote.
That's the old vote, where we got the new vote. So same thing, everybody, as you do the vote. I thank you for bearing with us on this polling system. And we're off. Again, if you don't have your vote within there, but you want to vote, just send it in the chat if that's easier for yourself. And we'll record those.
Cider.
We're getting there. We're close.
I feel like we should have put up music for this.
Is this Last Jeopardy?
Like Benny Hill, I was thinking
Oh,
maybe Benny Hill. Yeah.
So we'll give it another 15 seconds or so, because it looks like we're getting close to the end.
24, 23, 22,
I have to add while we're doing this.
21 left.
I'm taking off my shoes now to add.
Only one person doesn't want.
All right, so we ended the poll. Thank you for taking the time to do that. Daryl, thank you for all the work that you've done with the committee and each one of those committee members. I'm not sure who Dave Swider is, but it's Dave Snyder with SNYDER. Again, we'll count the votes that are in the chat in a few moments, but we overwhelmingly have votes to accept the new slate. So we have 106 who voted in the poll. I'm sorry, yes, 106 in the poll to vote yes, 1 no, and 3 abstains. So I thank you for all your time. The slate passes with all your approval. And Daryl, thank you so much for being a friend, a mentor, and all of the work that you do for Anshe Emeth. And will continue to do, Ina, for Anshe. So I hope we have all kinds of pictures of that, Sarah, and thank you. So that's the major part of some of the stuff we had to do tonight. And I thank you for your patience and all that. But now it's time to say some other thank yous. 2 years ago at my installation as the 60th president of Anshe Emeth, I told you I was a crier and I get choked up and emotional. I believe you have all been witness to my tears. Tonight, I promise myself that I will not cry, but I say that every day that I wake up. That same night, I also read a prayer from Mishkan Tefillah. This is the hour of change. Within it, we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? To me, this year, this prayer has new meaning that I never thought it would have in my life. No one could imagine what these last 2 years would bring to us in our community. And I want to highlight a few milestones and things that happened. We paid off our mortgage, thanks to you and our very generous anonymous donor. What a wonderful thing to have to plan for our future. We said goodbye to Cantor Anna Ott as she retired and we welcomed our new cantor, Mark Stanton. Our temple started making changes to become an inclusive community, a more welcoming community, welcoming all within our walls. Then came the pandemic. An inclusive community had a whole new meaning. Everyone needed to be able to participate, to feel as one. We had Zoom Shabbats, Zoom classes, Zoom Ohev Tarbut, and so many other programs. We had high holidays over the internet on screens. But also we sadly had Zoom funerals, Zoom Shiva, because they became a reality also. We all lost loved ones to COVID-19. May each of their memories abide for blessings. There are so many highlights and other things that we can talk about, but we have to move on. The meeting's getting long. Cantor Stanton has never had a service here with you in the pews joining us worshiping. It has all been remote. I hope that you can all meet and hear him soon. He is pretty awesome. Heather Kibble, our executive director, made sure our temple staff was safe and our temple office continue to operate and serve you. The Gan Yeladim, led by Ina Shepherd and our Gan director, continue to operate during the pandemic. Rabbi Glasser, Matt Vogel, all the teachers have created new and inventive ways to make sure our children were able to continue to learn. Rabbi Baisley became AV monitor. I felt like we need to get him a pocket protector. These are all things that I'm sure he never thought when he graduated rabbinical school that he'd have to learn how a Zoom call works and to make sure. But on top of that, to be able to move our community, our offices, our board to think outside the box, to make sure that we have caring community calls out to each of you during the pandemic, to do all these things to make us feel as one, to make us feel that we're in the same room. I thank you for allowing me to be your partner over these 2 years and really to be my friend. He is wise beyond his years. It's scary. Thank you to Cantor Ott for all that you brought to Anshe Emeth and everything you have done for my sons, Noah and Caleb. Thank you to Cantor Stanton for digging in and making Anshe Emeth your new community during this past year. We have so much more to learn and hear from you. Heather Kibble, she's my all-star goalie. She always keeps me on the right path, and even though I can be a pest, she keeps humoring me and going, to all the board members and officers who I've served with over the past 15 years or so, thank you for your patience and all the work that you do and continue to do. Your support has meant so much to me. But thank you to each and every one of you in our community, because without you, there is no Anshe Emeth. You make our community so special and so warm and welcoming. I cannot wait to be with you as we continue to grow. Ina Horn is your next president. You're in great hands. I don't have to say much more. If you don't know Ina, you're going to get to know her over the next 2 years, and she's just amazing. So thank you for allowing me to be your president. With that, Ina, I hand you the gavel and the chair next to the rabbi. So come on down.
So as we're getting some things for David to say thank you, I also want to make sure that we thank our 80 board members who are heading out, our current board members who are going to be stepping down or switching roles right now are Sarah Silver, Stephanie Haig, Ben Freed, Caitlin Price, and Kevin Ernst. I am amazed at the resilience that you all have, the leadership that you've all given, especially Sarah, who's been overseeing 80 as the president. You all have just been amazing, and I'm gonna, those who are graduating, I'm gonna miss you all so much. I'm still having a hard time believing that some of you are graduating and kind of in denial. I also want to congratulate our incoming 80 board. Avery Lipkin, another Lipkin, will be president. It runs in the family. Our programming vice president is Morgan Kovac. Our social action vice president is Max Hutkin. Our religious and cultural VP is Sarah Brown. Our membership vice president is Julia Rosenblum. Our treasurer is Joseph Angelo. Our communications vice president, Sammy Trachak. Our Israel VP is Paxton Furr, and our 9th grade rep is Julian Senek Kamen. I feel like I remember all of you when you were in like 2nd and 3rd grade. I'm having a hard time believing this right now, and I'm so utterly thrilled and excited for what you guys are going to do. I have a few things for our some words of appreciation and thanks to our outgoing board members who are Joanne Stern and Raj Shah. I'm going to move the camera over here so you can see what I'm presenting. For Roz and Joanne, I have these beautiful honey dishes for Rosh Hashanah because every moment's supposed to be a moment of rebirth in Judaism. And even though you might be stepping off the board now, I want to make sure you see this as a moment of rebirth and a moment that you can come back into the congregation in other capacities. And we will always appreciate everything you do for the temple. We'll make sure that these get to you. So we want to say thank you for all the love and care and concern you've given our temple over these past years. We also have a few things for our past president, David Levine.
Am I getting up or anything?
No, you're going to stay there for right now. I'll hand these to you later, but I'm going to show everybody here. And I don't want to, I know David in his speech just mentioned a couple of things that we had to go through before his term began. And we were thinking about some of the things that we were having to overcome or surmount. And the major thing that we were focused on in the beginning of 2019 was the mortgage. This was going to be the big thing, and hopefully we can pay it off. And you know, that felt like maybe 5 years ago that we paid it off now, even though it was a year and a half. And we still haven't really gotten together to celebrate burning the mortgage as we had intended. You know, but that was supposed to be the big challenge. Instead, we added to that a cantorial transition, personnel shifts, a rise in inclusion at our congregation. And, you know, we have these new signs on some of our bathrooms that are gender inclusive, all genders, transgender friendly bathroom signage up now. That was under your leadership, and you inspired us to a wave of inclusion at our congregation that has just been wonderful and delightful. Then came COVID and virtual high holidays, camp religious school at Eagles Landing, temple drive-bys, shifts in technology. And I know he said like a lot of this AV stuff was for me, but you know, almost every week I was calling up David saying, what do you think? How can we do this better? And I get these tips and ideas, and this is how you can see it and envision a new world at the temple. Let go of your preconceived notions of what the high holidays needs to look like, instead what it could be like. And I think all of you will join me in saying that even though we weren't in person for the high holidays, they were special last year. And David was a lot of that inspiration. Shifts in technology. We are now going hybrid, and we're figuring out how to put technology in our classrooms, in all of our spaces, so that we can have moments like this where anybody, regardless of COVID or not, can be included in our community as part of that transition. And just now we're moving ahead with redoing sound and video in our sanctuary. Any one of those things, Dainu, it would have been enough. But for the last 2 years, you've had quite a lot on your plate here and have given us wonderful guidance. And I have loved and appreciated every single moment of that. And I've cherished our friendship and our partnership together. You know, I really see what presidents have, and I think Daryl, who was also a president when I was senior, would echo, is that I believe that presidents and their rabbis need to have a covenantal relationship. That's not just we work together, but a bond. And I really, really appreciated that bond. And Ina, I can't wait to begin that bond with you, starting right now with your first gavel. But so for gifts, I'm being serious. David's like waiting for the shoe to drop.
I cried already.
When we honor him at the golf outing, and yes, this is a shameless plug for the golf outing where we're going to be honoring David, I will allow that moment to be the time where I, you know, lampoon you. But for right now, I will not be lampooning you. We have for you, as I get my fingerprints all over it, a nice award saying David Levine, President 2019 to 2021. 5779 to 5781, presented in gratitude for his service and dedication, with a little logo and gavel. And
did you just read that back?
Well, it's clear, yeah. And then I don't know if there was ever an event in the last 9 years where we had Havdalah, where you weren't crying through Havdalah at one point or another, especially when you were surrounded by your family, when you were surrounded by Noah and Caleb and Lisa, especially when Noah and Caleb were playing the guitar and leading, or the ukulele in Caleb's case. So I thought for a special gift, thanking you for your presidency, a special Havdalah set. This is from one of my favorite artists who hand makes the clay. I was tempted to put the pin on upside down, with gratitude to David Levine, president of Anshe Emet Memorial Temple. I did not affix it upside down. If you want to choose to do that, you should all know that David was petitioning us to have his name printed upside down in the sanctuary. We thought he was joking. He was very serious, but we'll give this to you later. Out of all the people I want to thank that have to do with your presidency, I really want to thank Lisa for letting you be a part of this in that way, but also for being an enormous champion and partner. I have loved how Lisa has been part of our, Lisa's not over there, I'll look at the camera. Lisa, I've loved how you've been with David every step of the way, and a true partnership between the two of you in everything that he's done. You've been there too, and you have been a tremendous part of his presidency. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank you for being Madam First Lady, because in many cases, I'm sure you were telling him what to do. And we thank you for that. So thank you, Lisa, and to the whole family. All right, I'm gonna shift gears to Ina now so I can cry a little bit.
And you don't see me on camera, which is good
David,
because I
come
am
over
crying.
here. Come over here.
No, you're good, you're good.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And without further ado, it is a pleasure to welcome your new president of Anshe Emet, Ina Horn.
So thank you, Rabbi Baisley, for your kind and generous introduction. It's a great privilege for me to be here today, and I am deeply honored to accept the Board of Trustees' offer to serve as the 61st president of Anshe Emet Memorial Temple. The warmth and support that so many of you have expressed is just inspiring. My first order of business is to extend my heartfelt thanks and to our outgoing president, David Levine, for his leadership through this incredibly difficult time. David, your presidency has been an historic one, and your leadership has taken us through uncharted territory. You have led the board and congregation through the pandemic with compassion, thoughtfulness, inclusion, and vision, and sometimes a few tears. And as I begin my presidency, I will strive to build upon the groundwork that you laid. Thank you for your never-ending words of encouragement and support, but most importantly, thank you for your friendship, for which I will always be grateful. I also want to give thanks to our two outgoing board members, Joanne Stern and Roz Shaw. Joanne and Roz, you have been valuable and dedicated board members, and for all the ways that you have served us and will continue to contribute to the well-being of the temple, we thank you. I also want to welcome and congratulate our incoming and returning trustees and our newly elected youth group board. I look forward to working with all of you. Now for my first report on the state of the temple. You already heard the financial report earlier from Dave Snyder, so I won't go over it again, but I'm proud to say that we are in good financial health and are projected to finish the year with a balanced budget. Our membership number is holding steady at 492. This is especially meaningful as so many synagogues are dropping in numbers. In fact, we are happy to have a new family join us just today and also have a few prospective members in the works. We're excited about a new membership initiative called Connections at AEMT. This program invites families with young children in pre-K through second grade to join Anshe Emet's religious school program without the requirement of becoming a temple member. Connection families will have many opportunities to connect with other religious school families and our congregation throughout the year. The hope is that they will soon become temple members as their children continue on to third grade and beyond. So please spread the word. It's been an incredibly difficult year for students in any educational setting, and we're extremely proud of what we have been able to accomplish here at Anchiemeth. If you are not aware, during the past year, religious school classes have been held in combination outdoors at Eagle Landing State Camp and virtually over Zoom, with our youngest learners attending in-person classes on Saturday mornings. Thank you to the Director of Education and Engagement, Matt Vogel, and everyone who worked hard to make sure that our children continue to receive a meaningful Jewish education. The charter school that has been renting space in our building for the past 2 years has been, the relationship with them has been going well, and things have been running smoothly. We're happy that they have renewed their contract with us for the next 2, possibly 3 years. Cantor Mark Stanton, as David and the Rabbi commented earlier, is completing his first year at Anchiemeth. He was hired a few days before the pandemic shut us down. I know that you would all like the opportunity to get to know him better, as well as he would you, and hopefully that will happen soon. We look forward to giving him a proper welcome as installation next May. I'm happy to report that we will soon be welcoming 2 rabbinic interns to Anchiemeth. Student Rabbi Ezra Leventhal and Student Rabbi Sienna Lottenberg will be joining our staff this coming year. Information about them and their roles will be included in an upcoming bulletin, so be on the lookout for that. Sadly, we're saying goodbye to our early childhood director, Ina Shepard, at the end of June. Her compassion and commitment to the well-being of the gone during the past 9 years is deeply appreciated, and we will miss her and wish her well and all the best in her future endeavors. Right now, we are in the process of searching for a new early childhood director and are currently accepting resumes for review. We also want to say goodbye and mazel tov to Rabbi Maya Glasser and Jake, as Rabbi Glasser steps into her new position as the rabbi of a congregation in Jacksonville, Florida. Thank you, Rabbi Glasser, for your time and the contributions here at Anchiemeth. Your new congregation is lucky to have you, and we will certainly miss you. The pandemic taught us a deeper appreciation for the value of human contact and communication. And this has been evidenced by the successful turnouts of our drive-throughs, our virtual tasting series, and our town hall Zoom meetings. It's been wonderful connecting with all of you, and more of these events are coming up, and we'd love to see you then. In fact, we have some openings for our wine tasting event on May 22nd. So I encourage you to support a local New Jersey winery, participate in this experience, and toast our temple community. Well, that ends my first president's report. And once again, I thank you for the opportunity and honor to serve as president of Anchiemeth. You'll hear more from me on Friday night when I address the congregation at the Shabbat service. And now I turn it over to Rabbi Baisley for the rabbi's report.
Thank you, Ina.
You're welcome.
Mazel tov and Yasher Koch and the first president's report.
Thank you.
I think now I think everybody now knows why I'm so excited that Ina's David, I'm not comparing the two. I'm just saying I'm very excited. I think you all join me in agreeing that we are all in really good hands with Ina at the helm. And I'm really excited for what we get to build and do next. I can't wait for what comes.
Thank you.
I'm been thinking a lot about what to comment for my rabbi's report this evening. From last year's report to now has been a very long year for many of us. There's been a lot of devastation, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of unknowing. Our community, not just our Jewish community here in New Jersey, but our country has been through a lot. And I think what we have gone through as a country in the last year is a lot more than we've gone through in many years combined. And one of the things that I hope that Anchiemeth has been for all of you is a place of making meaning. And I think what we've also come to realize is that the four walls of this congregation is just where the heart starts, but it radiates out. And through this technology, which is really fueled by our love and connection for our Anshe Emeth family, that we have been able to work on making meaning and trying to figure out how to respond in a Jewish and powerful way to what's gone on in the world. For some of us, it has been increased attendance at services. I know many of you have said to me that in the past you used to only come for the high holidays or maybe for a yurt site, but now it's part of your weekly tradition and you're finding great meaning out of it. For some of you, it's new classes and new adult education that you never stepped into before, but now thanks to Zoom you have. For some of you, it is increased social action and justice. I know something that has given me great meaning this past year, not only being a part of our community and guiding through this, but to be part of RAC New Jersey. And I know that's true for many of you on the call. RAC New Jersey, for those of you who don't know, is the Religious Action Center's state branch for New Jersey. And this Thursday, we are launching a new racial and social justice initiative. We're putting it into the chat box right now. Heather's typing in the link. What's that? I'm going to ask Anne they are going to drop in the link right now. But I'd like everybody to take a moment to register. I'm actually going to be speaking at the Trenton State House tomorrow about it. That's not the right thing, Anne. Although it does seem like a nice iPad. The initiative that we're undergoing is initiative to ban the box in housing. In other words, to make sure that somebody doesn't have to, at the onset of applying for an apartment, check that they have been convicted of a crime, but instead have the background check come later on. That way, somebody who has served their time, who have done teshuva, can have a chance at sustainable housing and hopefully drop recidivism in New Jersey and stop the prison pipeline. So I'd love everybody who can to jump onto the call on Thursday. It should be at rac.org. rac.org/NJ campaign kickoff. There it is. Thank you, Laura. Take a moment now and just click on that, open up a page, and please sign on. This is an important first step to try and bring racial justice to New Jersey. And I think one of the things that COVID has unveiled for us is that racial injustice and economic injustice goes deep. And part of the pain of the pandemic was not just the health issues, but how it affected minority groups as well. And yes, register even if you can't make it, because you'll then get the follow-up emails, the recording of the email. I'll be presenting during the kickoff as well. So register even if you can't make it, and we'll send you videos and next steps and all of that from RAC New Jersey. But the virus has really shown what lays underneath the surface of what we thought was a peaceful America. Well, might have thought. So to help fight not only the injustices in the world, but also the virus, we're going to be having some pop-up vaccine clinics here at the temple in the coming weeks, and there'll be more information out there. If you would like to volunteer to help individuals get the vaccine, shoot me an email or a message. We're looking for like 10 to 20 volunteers. We're shooting for May 23rd as the first date to help give out the vaccine. We're going to be, I've been talking to Ginny with Anshe Emeth CDC. We're going to try and partner with them to help inspire individuals to come and get vaccinated. That way, all of us can move towards a healthy tomorrow together. So please, if you can, shoot me an email. I'd like to volunteer. It's just a short amount of time, and the impact will be tremendous and will help save a life. So I think that, we are feeling close to the end, but we're not there yet. So I hope everybody will remain vigilant. And also that the last year, the care and concern that we've shown one another, the engagement, the involvement that we've had, I hope that you all continue it. And as things are starting to open up safely, that you continue that connection as well. In May, to just wrap up, I'd love for you to join us the first Friday of May for Installation Shabbat, as we formally install Ina Horn and all the other new officers and board members. I hope you join us for Education Shabbat, where we'll be saying thank you not only to our teachers, but also to Rabbi Glasser for her 3 years with us and all the teaching and the community that she's built with us. And personally, I want to say thank you to Rabbi Glasser for being my partner these past 3 years. And I'm so tremendously excited for you and Jake and what's to come. And then Graduation Shabbat, the last Friday of the month, where we say goodbye to our 12th graders and wish them luck in the world to come. Please join us for all of this. It's a wonderful way to celebrate Anshe Emeth. And the last little thing I want to dangle is we are right now thinking about how do we start opening up and how do we do high holidays in a way that's safe. What I can promise you is that we are thinking about how do we come together for high holidays, but I'm also promising you that we're going to do it in a way that's safe and will not put people at risk, because that is one of our prime concerns. So you'll hopefully get information soon about things coming together and how to do it and what high holidays might look like. And I'm very excited to see all of you, hopefully at some point soon, in a safe and healthy way. So thank you all. And as always, if anybody has any questions or concerns, you know where to find me. My door is always open. Ina, back to you.
Thank you, Rabbi Baisley. Our next order of business is our 50-50 raffle. And I'd like to call upon Jay Goldberg.
Oh, okay, sorry.
That's okay, thank you.
What are you doing with the raffle tickets down there?
Okay.
That's question.
Okay.
Jay, you can unmute.
Hey, Jay.
There we are. Hi, everybody.
Jay.
And let's ask.
Okay.
Not tough.
Thanks. Oh, there you are.
Our new slate. So this year was a challenging year, as we all know. But as of yesterday, I'm not sure if we sold any 50-50s today, but as of yesterday, the number of tickets sold was 111, which is a record sales for us. So thank you, everybody who purchased tickets and everyone who sold them and the support of the congregation. It's a wonderful thing. And with that, I turn it over to Rabbi Baisley, who's going to pick the ticket.
Are we doing right from here?
Yes.
Yes, we have 115 sold, Jay. Okay.
Wonderful. Yay. Congratulations.
Yeah, okay, so okay, so all the tickets are in this envelope. It'd be my pleasure to pick the first one. Okay. I'm digging deep. Let's see. Okay. Okay, the first raffle prize is, the name on the ticket is Fink in Brookline, Massachusetts.
Oh, Tracy and Sophie.
Tracy Fink.
Congratulations, Tracy.
Congratulations. Okay, so that you have that right here.
We're going from 6th place, right? The last.
Right, that was the 6th placed one. Okay. Next one is Larry Kleiman.
Ah, congratulations.
Debbie, yeah, great. Hey.
Dr. Clement.
Larry Kleiman. Beth and Les Adler.
Oh, it's my in-laws.
Hey,
I'll let them know they're donating it back to the temple.
That's a good idea. Okay. And then we have Barbara Bender.
very nice.
Congratulations.
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 All right. Debbie Cohen.
Congratulations, Debbie.
Am I going too many here?
No,
Okay.
one more.
Oh, this is a very special ticket. Lisa Levine.
Hey.
I'll speak for my wife. Just let her stay in. We're donating it back.
Was that the last one or is
That was
this
first prize, yeah.
first prize,
Wow.
David?
Sorry, hon.
Lisa, congratulations to all our winners and thank you all for participating in the 50-50 raffle. It really is a wonderful, contribution to the temple and I thank you all. Okay, I just want to remind everybody that the online silent auction is live right now. So please go on to the site for that. And I would like to ask if anybody has any good and welfare that they would like to share with us right now.
Not allow. Anybody, you can
Once
unmute
unmuted.
yourself.
You can unmute yourself. Anybody can unmute themselves and do that.
So this is Larry. So first of all, that was a wonderful surprise. I wanted to, as a pediatrician and epidemiologist, just say that we've made it through this far and I hope people will continue to be cautious. I think that folks who are around children would do well to maintain their masks and their social distancing until the kids can get vaccinated, even though it's really hard and it's wearing on all of us. And I just, that's the abundance of caution position, but it's the one that I'm taking with my 4-year-old. So just wanted to share that.
Thank you, Larry.
Thanks, Larry.
And thank you, Larry, for your advice on the recovery team also. Thank you so much. Anyone else?
You can unmute yourself, I believe.
Yes. Good and welfare?
No, you don't. That's it? Good and welfare? Okay.
I do want to say one word. It's been a very interesting time coming to Anshe Emeth, but it has been an absolutely wonderful time. And thank you, everybody, for reaching out in the ways that you've reached out. And you've been a blessing. Thank you.
Thank you, Cantor Stanley. Okay. Do I hear a motion for closing the meeting?
So moved.
Closing prayer.
Closing prayer.
Oh, I'm sorry. Closing prayer.
That's
How we're going to call it Howard
Howard.
Firestone. How you could yeah, you're,
Yeah, I'm unmuted.
yeah, you're good.
Okay. Reflecting on what we have lived through during this past year, I feel these words are both appropriate and on point. Don't merely expect to find or to believe that life is worthwhile. Make it worthwhile. Don't merely see life whole, make it whole. Not knowing which should come first, to improve oneself or to improve the world, we end up doing nothing. Actually, the only way to improve the world is by improving oneself. And the only way to improve oneself is by improving the world.
Beautiful.
Yashikoa.
Yashikoa.
Motion.
Thank you. I want to thank you all for attending tonight's meeting, and it's just been a wonderful evening for me. And again, I say thank you to David and to Rabbi Heather, everyone else that made this possible. And now, and now I will take the motion to adjourn the meeting. I see Paula's hand raised.
Second.
First,
Talk about breakout rooms? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do your best.
I first gavel.
Yay.
Okay, so breakout rooms.